You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Welcome, everyone, and make sure that you follow and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to us on. The Brian Craig Show podcast is available on all podcast platforms, including Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible. We're on all podcast platforms. So if there is a podcast platform I didn't mention, we're on that one too. So follow us there as well. All right. Well, lots going on, and they are really bringing it on against our great president, Donald Trump. The FBI breaking into Mar-a-Lago this week, and we got a lot of new stuff that has come out today, just in the last few hours since I got off the radio. Lots of stuff has happened. Trump has released a new ad, which I'm going to play for you in just a moment. So Letitia James has built an entire career as the Attorney General in New York on just suing Trump. That's her whole thing. And, of course, Trump's been in New York, and people wonder why. Well, it's Letitia James. And listen to this. President Trump has criticized New York Attorney General Letitia James as committing a political attack on me, my family, and my great company as he arrived to be grilled under oath in the investigation into his business practices. In a statement exclusively obtained by the Daily Mail, I got this out of the Daily Mail, President Trump says James campaigned on the policy of get and destroy Trump, which she did, and her probe is nothing more than a witch hunt. President Trump also confirmed he would plead the fifth under questioning and insist I did nothing wrong. He called her a failed politician who has intentionally colluded with others to carry out this phony, years-long crusade that has wasted countless taxpayer dollars in an effort to prop up her political career. He also tore into her focus on him. While New York is suffering its worst murder, drug, and overall crime rate in many decades, he said, Eric Trump slammed Letitia James' ploy to investigate the Trump family as a coordinated attack. President Trump is facing a deposition from the New York Attorney General as part of a probe into the family's real estate business. You know, and I'll play the ad. President Trump released an ad today after this statement came out that he's taking the Fifth Amendment. And for those of you that are listening to us outside the United States, in Canada, the UK, Australia, wherever you are in the world, and we have a lot of new listeners in the non-English speaking world that are joining us.
It's amazing this morning.
Is a global thing.
Yeah, it is. And this morning you asked the listeners to put in the comments where they were from. And there were a lot of people from the UK. I was really
UK MAGA.
I mean, I saw about 10 or 12 right in a row. Boom, boom, boom. And I was like, wow. We also have a lot of listeners in Australia.
Yeah.
All over the country.
That's
and
true.
like you said, even non-English speaking. Because when you go to a lot of European countries like France and stuff, a lot of people there speak English too.
Yeah. So those of you outside the United States that may not be familiar with the Fifth Amendment, everybody in America is.
Oh, yes.
And it's the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. And when people say I take the Fifth, I plead the Fifth, and all of this, the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution guarantees us the right against self-incrimination. What that means is
that's right.
You cannot be forced to testify against yourself or confess. And when you take the Fifth, it does not mean that you are guilty. What it means is the way the legal system works, say they call me to the stand and they ask you a series of questions, not just one, you have to take the Fifth on all of them, no matter what they are. If you answer one of them with an answer other than the Fifth, you have surrendered your Fifth Amendment right, and then you can be commanded to answer the question that would incriminate you. I know it seems a bit confusing to people that aren't familiar with American law, but that's the way it works. And Letitia James is the textbook example of what, if you looked up Webster's dictionary, corrupt public official, they would have Letitia James next to the definition. So after all this, let me tell you what this is about. They talk about President Trump has this is what they claim. Letitia James, it's so ridiculous that he artificially inflated the price of his real estate holdings to obtain loans. Okay, couple things about this. One, as an individual, you don't obtain loans based on what you say a property is worth. The banks appraise the property and tell you what they believe the property is worth. Okay, you can't just say my property is worth. If we did that, I'd say my house is worth $100 million, and you know what I mean. That's not how it works. Banks appraise it and they determine it. But the other thing is, President Trump on his real estate holdings, like everything else, puts his name on it. It's a brand. So if Donald Trump bought the house next to my house and Kathy's house, and
wouldn't that be something?
Oh man, that'd be wonderful. That'd be wonderful.
Our neighborhood's not fancy enough for Donald Trump, that's for sure.
Not many people's are. But
true.
If Donald Trump moved into the house next door to us and it was identical to our house in every single way, except he owned it, his house would be worth a lot more money than our house because Trump owns it.
Exactly.
So if you have two high rises in New York City, they're identical, but one of them says Trump Tower on it, and everything is identical. Even if the other one's nicer, the one that has Trump's name on it is always worth more money.
Miranda Devine said they call their bedroom the Versailles room.
Oh, my goodness.
That shows you how fancy Trump and Melania are. And they went through her closet in the Versailles room.
Let's
I wonder what her closet looks like.
Let's get to that.
I would love to see it. I bet it's huge.
Let's get to that in a minute because I want to play this Letitia James ad. So after all this stuff happened with Letitia James today, who is just a corrupt person, President Trump put out a new ad online. It's on his Truth Social profile. And here's the audio of it. And it's pretty good. And it says everything you need to know about Letitia James, the corrupt Attorney General of New York State.
Will you sue him for us? Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the ass.
Now, that girl there was a campaign event when she was running for Attorney General the first time. And boy, did that liberal girl just ask the greatest question ever of Letitia James. And that's the gift that keeps on giving.
Will you sue him for us? Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the ass. I will never be afraid to challenge this illegitimate president. We need to focus on Donald Trump. We need to follow his money. What is fueling my soul right now is Trump. This illegitimate president. I look forward to going into the office of Attorney General every day, suing him, and then going home.
Wow. I mean, I don't know what the process is to remove a corrupt public official from office, but that you want to talk about abuse of power.
Right. Well, there's a lot of abuse of power going on right now. And it's really going to look bad for these people when they come out of this with nothing, with nothing to show for it, as usual. And I've always said this: they're turning Trump into a folk hero. They already have, and now they even said on the news last night, which is probably more true, they're turning him into a martyr.
Yep,
and that's true. And they had I read a quote from somebody who said that the problem they're going to have with Trump is he has built himself as going against the establishment. That's part of his appeal. That's a huge part of his appeal. And the more the establishment tries to bring him down, the greater that appeal becomes. It reinforces that whole thinking that, you know, the more they try to take him down, the more people are going to say they are trying to take him down. I mean, it's just him against them. Especially when they come out with nothing, with no evidence, nothing. I would have thought if they would have found something, because they took all those papers to Washington yesterday evening or Monday evening or whenever they did it Monday. I guess it's been 2 days now, right? Since the raid. 2 days.
Well, they did around noontime on Monday, right?
9 a.m.
9 a.m. So they had Monday and 2 full days. We're in day 3 today.
We have heard nothing.
Not one press conference.
If they had found something, believe me, they would have found it by now. They would have found something. 15 boxes is not that much to go through. You get one guy on each box. They would have found something by now. They're looking for a needle in a haystack, but the problem is the needle's not there. So they're
looking for a fantasy. They're looking for the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus. Is what they're looking for.
They're convinced that they can find something, and he has become their Moby Dick, and they're all Captain Ahabs, and they are and it'll be their downfall. It already is. That and they actually think they've convinced themselves that we're nervous, that we're worried. No, we're not worried at all. We pray for him. I don't know how the guy handles all this, but you know what? When you have the truth on your side, I guess that's why Trump's not sweating this, because he's got nothing to hide, and he's got the truth on his side. That's how he can handle all this.
There is a new story has just come out just a short time ago involving the break-in at Mar-a-Lago by the feds. This is at Mediaite, okay, which is a liberal news outlet, but you got to read through all that stuff. You have to read through all the liberal stuff.
Yes.
But so I'm going to read this story out of Mediaite, but I tell you it's liberal because there will be some words and phrases possibly that these are not my words. I'm reading from Mediaite. So if you hear any liberal sounding things, it's not me, it's Mediaite.
Right.
In a telling exclusive, already, when you hear the next line, in a telling exclusive, like they believe this.
Yes.
Okay, they believe this. In a telling exclusive for Newsweek, I didn't know Newsweek still existed. I guess in an online form. In a telling exclusive for Newsweek, government officials revealed that a confidential informant helped provide the basis for the FBI search warrant of President Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. Monday's raid on Trump's Florida residence has shaken up the political landscape and dominated a news media hungry for details. Two Trump lawyers who were at the scene have said the warrant they were shown was partly sealed. Okay, so anyway, they say they got a confidential informant. Boy, isn't that convenient? The press have this racket going where they have confidential sources that they never have to reveal. That means they really don't have to have a source. They can just make it up and say they have a confidential source.
Of course.
This sounds like the same thing. And that they a confidential source we can't reveal.
Another anonymous source.
Now, I had kind of a theory about this that I floated on the radio today, and I was reluctant to share it because it seems kind of crazy. But I was surprised how many people agree with it. So let me throw it out there to you guys, and you can let me know in the comments of the program. Some people have said that Trump set up the FBI here. And when I first heard that, I thought that was ridiculous. And then I started thinking about it. And all this spying that they do on President Trump may, he's been at Trump Tower. He may have been testing to see if Trump Tower was still bugged by the feds, right?
Oh.
And I'm thinking
had like a little conversation.
I think they had like a fake conversation testing if they were bugged about, those documents, those confidential documents that we have hidden at Mar-a-Lago. I'm thinking they may have done that to test whether or not they were being spied upon.
I'll take it beyond that.
And he may be the source. You understand what I mean?
I think if that's possible, which
it is very possible.
Could be. I think that might be the reason why, and also as like a setup to really make them look bad. You know what I mean? Which it is. Like make them look bad. Like, like they're bugging me so much, they're hounding me so much. Let me give them something to do, kind of thing. And let's see how bad they look when they come up empty.
They come up with nothing
after raiding my house.
That's
it's like he laid a trap. And they walked right in.
That's right. Now, President Trump is not the only MAGA man. He is the MAGA man, but he is not the only MAGA man who is under harassment because he's MAGA. And, of course, I'm talking about the great Mike Lindell, the inventor of the MyPillow. And I got to tell you, Mike Lindell, who's facing billions with a B in lawsuits because he stands up for what's right with President Trump. You guys know what he's going through. MyPillow has been banned by the leading big box retailers, including Walmart, which was a major blow to the company, Bed Bath & Beyond, Kohl's, the Home Shopping Network, QVC. They will not carry MyPillow products any longer. And what's kept Mike Lindell going are you all out there supporting him. And with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, there are huge savings on a lot of items. Over 1 dozen top MyPillow products are right now on sale. Buy one, get one free with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. The MyPillow, classic MyPillow that started it all, buy one, get one free with our promo code KANE. The Giza Elegance pillow, Kathy and I took advantage of this and have 4 of them. That is buy one, get one free. The 6-piece MyPillow towel set is buy one, get one free. With I'm naming products we have, by the way.
I love the towels. Love the towels.
Well, I tell you,
they're amazing.
The MyPillow towels are so good. I tell you this quick story with me. I went to take a shower. All the towels were dirty. Kathy wasn't,
I guess I wasn't doing my job.
Wasn't doing her job, I guess. Yeah. And all I had in
Way to throw me under the bus here.
No, I'm kidding.
I know.
I go to the closet where we keep our towels. All that was in there was the washcloth from the 6-piece MyPillow towel set. And it's the morning. I got to take a shower, for work. So I said, okay. So I took the little washcloth from the 6-piece MyPillow towel set. I took a shower, and I used it to dry off with. I got out of the shower. I took the MyPillow washcloth. I dried my hair and my entire body.
Yeah.
I was completely dry. And you know what? The little washcloth, these towels of Mike Lindell's are so good.
It's amazing.
It absorbed all the water. Isn't that something?
This is not a joke. That's true.
It's true.
You could literally take one of the towels, and this is even after washing them over and over again.
They're like brand new every time.
You could take the towel and use it as a blanket and honestly be totally comfortable. They're bigger than a regular towel. They're 2 or 3 times thicker. They're softer. Yeah. I've never, honest to God, had a towel this nice. You could literally lay on the couch and put it on you as a blanket.
Yeah, they're great.
And you would fall asleep totally comfortable.
They're great.
True.
Yeah, they're great.
And cozy.
Yeah.
Really, they're really that good.
Yeah, they are that
Not
good.
lying.
And there are many other items there that are buy one, get one free with our promo code at checkout, Kane, K-A-N-E. Not just the ones I mentioned, including the MyPillow 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets with Kathy and I have. Those are buy one, get one free with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. So go to mypillow.com and buy something. One last thing. Mike Lindell now has the My Coffee. And
yes, it's a big hit.
Now, that's not on the MyPillow website. It's on his other website, My Store. So if you go to mystore.com, you can also use our promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, on all the items at mystore.com that Mike Lindell offers. But when you go to mystore.com with our promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, 25% off Mike Lindell's brand new product, My Coffee, which comes ground or in beans and every type of roast as well. That's at mystore.com, 25% off the My Coffee with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. All right. Now, some other news came out from the break-in of Mar-a-Lago, and we got some of the details earlier than this afternoon, a little more details. Two. One that was confirmed today was that the FBI asked the staff to turn off the cameras in Mar-a-Lago, which they refused to do. So I'm hoping to see that at some point.
Oh, man, they need to release that footage.
But second, there's two other things. Second and third.
Good for the staff.
Second, they went through the entire wardrobe of the First Lady, and they spent hours, when they broke into a safe, they spent hours going through his private office at Mar-a-Lago.
Yes.
Hours. And, this guy, he is, regardless of what you think of him, he is a president of the United States. They talked about classified information. I'll give you an example of a president who gave out classified information, and this was serious. Jimmy Carter, when Bill Clinton was president, Jimmy Carter is a well-known anti-Semite. He does not support Israel. Mm-hmm. He hates Jews, Jimmy Carter.
That's true.
And Jimmy Carter, they corrected this because they got caught. Jimmy Carter at the Carter Center, this was in the 90s, had a map of the Middle East on the wall at the Carter Center in Atlanta. It didn't have Israel on the map. Didn't have it. Can you imagine? That's Jimmy Carter. So
you went to that museum. You said it wasn't that good.
There's nothing in it. It's vacuous.
Yeah,
the Jimmy
he didn't
Carter
do anything.
That's right. But Jimmy Carter gave out classified information. He was meeting with the Palestinians, and he told the Palestinians, because as a former president, Jimmy Carter, gets the national security briefings to keep up to date. And the reason they do that is not just out of respect, but every president has an expertise in that they've dealt with a certain country or a certain leader over time. And other presidents secretly call them up from time to time and ask them a question. What's this guy really like? Like if someone down the road were going to meet with Kim Jong-un, they might call President Trump up and say, what's he really like? And they'll talk, or, what does he like? Jimmy Carter was meeting with the Palestinians and gave them classified information on the nuclear arsenal of Israel, including the number of nuclear weapons they have. Top secret classified information that, the Palestinians gave to everyone, including Iran. That is not just classified information. That's possibly deadly classified information.
Yeah.
I don't remember them breaking into Jimmy Carter's house and ransacking Rosalind's wardrobe.
No.
But this is the thing. What they did was wrong, every degree of it. But what they did to the First Lady, Melania, going through her wardrobe, going through her underwear drawers and all of this, I would think that's like a violation of a woman. That's almost like an assault. It's creepy.
Bad.
It's pervy. It's creepy, and it's a violation. And Melania will probably not wear any of those clothes again.
Yeah, I would think not.
She may throw them away, although maybe a couple $1 million worth of items, or donate them, or something. But
I would really
that is a serious violation of a woman. Don't you think?
I think anytime somebody ransacks your home, it's a violation.
Kathy,
it's like being robbed.
If 50 guys came into the house and started going through your side of the closet, and we don't have walk-in closet. Kathy's got a side, I got a side.
Exactly.
My side's all Trump T-shirts, okay? Pretty much. But if they went through all your closet and your dresser drawers and everything and your personal items,
no, of course,
I wouldn't want you to wear those. I would feel like you were almost like a sexual assault.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I wouldn't
It's an
take
assault.
It that
It's a
far, Brian.
violation.
I don't think it's that bad. I mean, come on.
Kathy, you got all these creepy men.
It's not the same as a sexual assault. I mean, come on. That's devastating. This is not devastating. It's not good, but, it's
perverts
it's
like to
it's
go.
It's not that bad.
The perverts
it's bad,
like to,
but it's not as bad as that. You're making a bad
No.
comparison.
Perverts like to go through women's underwear drawers.
Okay.
I just think it's
not the same as a sexual assault. Okay,
it's not the exact same thing.
Not even close.
But it's still
it's a violation. I would compare it to being robbed, where people go through your home, take things. I would compare it to that feeling of a violation of a home robbery.
Yeah.
Not what you're saying at all, but it is a violation. And I would imagine I would really love, and I would love to see Trump. I don't know if I guess they're not going to do this, but what I would have done if I was her or Trump is I would have, now maybe they just don't want pictures. Maybe the Secret Service won't let them do this, but I would have sent Dan Scavino down and said, take pictures tonight and show how they left my home. Yeah. And I would love to see him put those online. But probably it's a security issue, so they probably can't do that. But they maybe could show close-up pictures. But I would really love to see how they left that home, the condition. Because they didn't tidy up after themselves. They left it a mess. They probably had crap thrown everywhere. Her clothes. I mean, she's probably got $5,000 dresses, maybe more. And they probably just threw them on the ground and were just loving it, going through everything. I wonder if they went through Barron's room. But it's really... distressing. I'm surprised we haven't heard from Don Jr., though. Eric Trump's making all these statements and doing interviews. We have not heard from Don Jr. On this, or Ivanka, which I would really love to hear from Don Jr. And I really would, I don't know why Trump is not announcing he's running yet. I don't know what he's waiting for. Everybody said he was going to announce Monday. I don't know whether that's true or not, but I really feel that he needs to do it soon, because I think it will give momentum to the elections in November. I think they need to have him out there as a candidate or as a potential candidate running. And I think if he becomes a candidate, it would protect him a little bit more, because then it makes it look like Joe Biden makes it look like what it is, that he's using the DOJ to go after his political opponents.
That's right.
Now, this is what they accuse Trump of doing, by the way.
We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. We've only just scratched the surface. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Back after this.
Nothing is better than shopping, other than shopping for a good cause. The store, TruePinkEagle.com, wants to sell you amazing items that you will love while helping fight breast cancer. In fact, with every purchase at TruePinkEagle.com, money will be donated to breast cancer patients to help them fight this horrible disease. TruePinkEagle.com carries streetwear that's stylish, modern, and comfortable, as well as makeup, accessories, aromatherapy oil, and a whole lot more. With your help, they can make a significant contribution to various cancer societies, both locally and internationally. Start shopping today by purchasing one of their top quality lip glosses from the store. TruePinkEagle.com. That's TruePinkEagle.com. There's no doubt about it. Life is sweeter with cookies. It's time to savor the small things. At bellsrange.com, you will find baked-to-order gourmet cookies. These are made to be enjoyed and savored. Make sure to try their chocolate chip, snickerdoodle, or oatmeal raisin. They also have cookies for chocolate lovers, gluten-free, vegan, and many, many more. bellsrange.com customers rave about their mini cookies, requesting specialty flavors. They're perfect for parties, sharing with friends and family, or just enjoying for yourself. They're beautifully packaged and totally delicious, and they make great gifts. Everyone loves the mini cookies at bellsrange.com. Order some today. Life is sweet. Savor the small things. Have you ever wondered what life's like for a first responder? Maybe you've thought about a career as a police officer or professional firefighter. Are you a first responder or just searching for a fun and interesting podcast to add to your playlist? Then check out Code 0.5. Hosts Jason and Rich have over 15 years of experience as first responders, and they have amazing stories to tell. Code 0.5 revolves around the host careers in law enforcement, fire, and as medics. Topics range from bizarre 911 calls to memorable arrest that they will never forget. Add Code 0.5 to your podcast playlist right now. Available on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcast.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast. Broadcasting from sunny South Florida, Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Those of you that are new to the show, I got all kinds of stuff going on, right? I do the radio show every morning, which is live for 3 hours on 6 radio stations, which I live stream on YouTube, taking calls from our radio listeners and YouTube watchers. I do all kinds of content on my YouTube channel, Brian Craig on YouTube. And also, I do the podcast here with Kathy, the Brian Craig Show podcast, which, as I said at the top, is on all podcast platforms, including Spotify and many others. If there's a podcast platform, our program is on it, okay? And also, we upload the podcast to my YouTube channel. Now, yesterday, I went to Mar-a-Lago, and I live streamed for a couple of hours at Mar-a-Lago, and it was a very amazing experience. And I'm going back to Mar-a-Lago this weekend, and I'm doing there's a couple things going on at Mar-a-Lago for me personally on Saturday. Now, on the weekends, typically on Saturdays, most Saturdays, sometimes I'll skip a Saturday, but most Saturdays I do a live stream from my home studio on YouTube, and I do a YouTube Live at home. I'm going to do that this Saturday morning from Mar-a-Lago, okay? I'm taking our daughter to the airport. She's flying off somewhere, and I'm dropping her off at the airport and heading to Mar-a-Lago, and I will be doing my Saturday morning live stream from Mar-a-Lago. Saturday, those of you here in South Florida, Saturday at 11 a.m., there is I'm going to call it a rally. There's a rally of support for President Trump. Word is spreading here in South Florida.
It'll be huge.
For MAGA to go to Mar-a-Lago to support President Trump at 11 a.m. On Saturday. Now, I got to tell you something, and this is very important, okay, for you to understand. Go early. When I went to Mar-a-Lago, the national and international media are there. And, Mar-a-Lago, even if Trump had not had his first term already as president, that area where President Trump lives, it's called Palm Beach Island. And since Florida has had residents since, of the 20th century, in the early 20th century, that has been the most exclusive area of Florida. The wealthiest of the wealthy have always lived there since the Great Gilded Age, Palm Beach Island. Yep. And it's not a place where you can just pull up and park. It's one of the few places in Florida that there's a lot of private beach. And so you typically really cannot park in front of Mar-a-Lago. There's no sidewalks or anything else. Not only because he's had his first term as president. It's always been that way. Okay, it's in the same neighborhood where Rush Limbaugh lived, where a lot of celebrities. Sylvester Stallone lives down the street. Tucker Carlson. It's not too far from Jeffrey Epstein's old place, which they've torn down, but it is filled with the wealthy elite of the world. And it always has been. One of the reasons is there's no state income tax in Florida, but it's a beautiful area, a very exclusive island. The reason I tell you that, there's a very small area where you're allowed to park. And the press have camped out there and taken it all. So there's no parking.
Yeah, along the bridge.
Yeah, there's a bridge right before Mar-a-Lago. There's two bridges, and between the two bridges is a small parking area. The press have moved in. They've taken up all the parking.
I was thinking too when you were there and it's on Southern Boulevard. In case you want to know, just take I-95 to Southern and go east, and you'll hit it. When you were there, and that's over that waterway, over that intracoastal waterway, is that long bridge, and I would say it's about a quarter of a mile across, all down. You know what I mean? Across that waterway. And you showed all the cars when you were walking. And I was thinking, there's so many cars here, but there's not as many people right now. And then it just dawned on me that the press, I think they come in like 3 or 4 cars each team.
Minimum.
And they're purposely taking up those spots so other people can't park there, because a lot of people were driving by. A lot of people were driving by, honking their horns, but nobody parked to stand out there because you had to park 1.5 miles away. So be prepared to walk and park about 1 mile west. But don't let that deter you.
I'm not going to tell people. If you watched me on YouTube yesterday, and you go to my YouTube feed, you can see where I parked. But when I go there Saturday, I'm not going to be parking in the same place, and I'm not going to tell you where I'm parking.
People find a way, because you've been there with thousands of people.
But
people find a way.
I want people to know, well, no, this is a little different, because typically what happens, there's a Publix, which is the big grocery store chain in Florida. About 2 miles from Mar-a-Lago, there is a public shopping center that's a regular shopping center, and typically no, I can't say it again. That's the Apple Watch.
My watch started going nuts.
Yeah. There's this public shopping center, and typically the MAGA people, we meet there and we set up our event out on the sidewalk, not in front of Mar-a-Lago, in front of this public shopping center, and President Trump comes by and waves and greets us and all that stuff, and it's exciting. And typically what people do is drive by Mar-a-Lago. And like when I've been up there on President's Day, there were over 100,000 people there. But this is different. People want to actually be in front of Mar-a-Lago because of the attack on Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah. So I would get there early.
Yesterday, I had to park 1.5 miles or 2 miles away, and it's hot. It was
it's hot now.
It was when I first got there, it was in the 80s, that's cool for us. In the high 80s, it was like, oh, that's cool. The weather's beautiful.
Yeah, this time of year, yeah.
When I left, it was 92 degrees. But the heat index was 101, 102. The heat index is what it feels like. So it felt like it was over 100 degrees. And I was wearing a T-shirt and shorts. I came home when I got off the radio to change because I knew it'd be hot. And I knew I would have to walk. I didn't think I'd have to walk this far.
Yeah.
So I was wearing a T-shirt, shorts, and my MAGA hat. And I had a hard time. I almost had a heat stroke. In fact, I felt the heat coming on, and I knew I had. So I walked back to the car, and that's when I ran into the guy from the Daily Wire that interviewed me.
But I think people that would go are Floridians, and they understand that.
This is what I want to tell you to do.
I think most people in Florida understand the heat.
This is the thing. This is what I just want to tell people. Be prepared to park far away.
Yeah, you're going to walk.
The Publix is a good spot to park. Some people had brought bicycles.
Somebody should bring a shuttle bus. They could probably make a fortune.
They should.
If you had like a van and you offered to shuttle people for like $5 there and back, you could probably make a lot. I'm surprised nobody's done that with an SUV.
That's right. Yeah, you could
probably make a lot of money.
And bring water with you. Be prepared.
Definitely.
I know where I'm parking, and I've got so I got some. I know what I'm doing, but just be prepared for that
for sure.
And let me tell you, this is important because turnout's important for this, and I don't want people to be discouraged when they get there. Oh, I got nowhere to park and leave. Don't let that happen to you. There are places to park. You'll find them. Just be prepared to walk. a little ways, okay? Or bring a bicycle or something else.
And look for Brian. He'll be there.
I'll be there, in the MAGA hat with the other people. But the press, some of them, a couple of them are nice people. The Sky News people were there from Australia, and they're nice people.
Yeah. They're great.
And the Daily Wire interviewed me, and I ran when I was there yesterday. I had a few people, ran into some radio listeners and some YouTube subscribers, ran into podcast listeners and stuff too. It was nice. I don't do a lot of interviews with. You got to be. I was talking to one of our listeners yesterday. If you saw any of the interviews of men and women in front of Mar-a-Lago yesterday, MAGA people, when the sun was out, they probably were a listener of mine on one of my platforms because there were a lot. I met some, and then I saw them on TV on international broadcast yesterday. And I was talking to one of the ladies and telling her, she's like, "I'm talking to everybody." I said, "You got to be careful with that. You don't want to talk to them. They can make you look bad." And she's like, "I'm not saying anything bad." And she didn't quite get what I was telling her. They can edit things.
They have a way of, because I listened to your interview, and then I saw when they were interviewing the Blacks for Trump guy.
Yeah.
And what the reporters do is they ask very leading questions, very, very specific questions. They lead you where they want you to go.
Yes.
Okay. They're like a lawyer here. And when you do an interview, they are in control of what you say because you're answering very, very specific questions that they're asking you. And if they have a narrative, if you say something that they cannot use for that narrative, you're not going to get on TV. Doesn't matter how good you look or what you say. The liberals are looking for a Trump person to say something that they think will make them look bad.
Correct.
And they will interview 20 people, and they might use 30 seconds out of those 20 people. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Because they could get footage up the yin yang. They don't care, okay? And I noticed when they interview people like that, Blacks for Trump was being interviewed, that guy interviewing him just let him go on and on and on. He didn't interrupt him. He went on for about 10 minutes on his spiel. He's going to take out of that what he wants.
It could be 2 words.
And exactly. They will interview dozens and dozens of people. And if they have a liberal bent that they want to push, believe me, they will find the one person out of those dozens that says one thing that they're going to use and use it as a soundbite. They go with a purpose in mind.
Yeah, and
it's not to make Trump look good.
And I turned down interviews. I turned down the one I did yesterday. I only did it because it was the Daily Wire. And Kathy said, "Well, how do you know they're the Daily Wire? Anybody can have a hat on that says the Daily Wire." The guy who was the cameraman for the interview, I recognized from YouTube. I've seen him on the Daily Wire YouTube videos many, many times. So I knew they were the Daily Wire.
You have to know who you're talking to for sure.
And I turned down, and people contact me to do interviews, and 99.9% of the time I turn them down because once you do an interview, sometimes people ask me to be on podcast and things too, and I turn them down. The reason unless I really know who they are and I check them out, the reason I do that is because once you do the interview, you've lost control. And these leftists can edit things up. They can't make you say something you didn't say, but they can take 2 or 3 words and put it in a narrative with another story to make you look like you said something else. You got to be very careful with that. And doing interviews is a good way to help me in my business because I get to promote where I'm at, where you can find me and things like that, and I'm turning them down.
Okay, so we have huge development in this case. Just broke on the Gateway Pundit. Huge development. This just came out. Now, Gateway Pundit has good sources.
Yeah, they do.
Report alleges the FBI had a personal stake in the Mar-a-Lago raid. Agents were after Spygate documents Trump was holding that implicated the FBI. This is a new twist. As reported earlier today, President
so they were
Trump,
looking. Okay, so slow down for a second.
They were looking for stuff that was going to implicate them.
He's got evidence against them.
That's right.
That they were trying to get and destroy, according
That's
to
what
this
this
story.
is saying. As reported earlier today, President Trump declassified a binder on January 19th, 2021, that contains hundreds of pages about the Crossfire Hurricane scandal.
Wow.
It contains damaging information about the corrupt actors involved with our government. 2 different DOJ attorney generals have defied Trump's direct law order to publish the binder in the Federal Register. It has been 19 months as the DOJ defies the order and every FOIA request to make it
That's
public.
Freedom of Information Act.
Right. The DOJ has already made redactions to protect sources and methods and returned the binder back to the White House. But the FBI also wanted to hide names. So at the last minute, the DOJ demanded the binder comply with the 1974 Privacy Act. Hours before Trump left office on January 20th, Mark Meadows gave the binder back to the DOJ with this memo. He asked the DOJ to make any Privacy Act redactions out of an abundance of caution. In the memo, he asks they expeditiously release the binder when finished. Meadows foolishly, this is their writing, expected this would take 3 to 4 days. It's been 19 months and it's still not released. Okay, so says here.
So they're the ones trying to destroy evidence,
Now
not Trump.
New details on Monday's raid of Mar-a-Lago may offer an explanation on what the FBI was looking for and why the FBI has not released the Spygate documents as they were ordered to when Trump left office. Investigative reporter Paul Sperry had his Twitter account taken down for blah, blah, blah. Let me see what it gets to. According to him, the FBI agents spent 9 hours looking for details President Trump took with him on the Crossfire hurricane.
Wait, they were in Mar-a-Lago for 9 hours searching?
FBI spying scandal. So the FBI and the DOJ cannot let the American people know. So now they're saying that they were looking for stuff that would incriminate them.
So they're looking to destroy evidence.
That's right. That's what the Gateway Pundit is reporting. So go to the Gateway Pundit. It's the top story. This just came out by Jim Hoft, who's very good. They had a personal stake. They were after Spygate documents Trump was holding that implicated the FBI in this hurricane scandal, which I've never heard of this hurricane.
Yeah.
So they were looking for documents that were going to incriminate them.
That's amazing.
That's an interesting twist.
Now, I want to take a moment before we finish up on this.
Rachel Maddow talk about that.
I want to take a moment to thank all of our Patreon supporters for your support of the program. And if you're a Patreon supporter, of course, all Patreon supporters have access to commercial-free editions of each and every podcast episode. We post all that to our Patreon page. And there's a lot of other things we offer our Patreon supporters as well, including our top Patreon supporters who get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every podcast episode. And the top Patreon supporters also have their first names listed in the description of each and every podcast episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, Gary, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, and Leigh Paul. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you. And if you would like to become a Patreon supporter and support the program through that, there is a link in the episode description and the description of all of our other episodes as well. It's patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show. You know, this is amazing. If this story's true and the Gateway Pundit is very credible, that is huge. You know, I know a lot of people have been saying this week. We are now living in a banana republic. And I think we've always been living in a banana republic. We just didn't know it, Kathy.
Okay, Trump just trued something 20 minutes ago about this. Maybe not specific. Let's see what he said. In early June, the DOJ and FBI asked my legal representatives to put an extra lock on the door leading to the place where boxes were stored in Mar-a-Lago. We agreed. They were shown the secured area and the boxes themselves. Then on Monday, without notification or warning, an army of agents broke into Mar-a-Lago, went to that same storage area, and ripped open the lock that they had asked to be installed. A surprise attack, politics, and all the while our country's going to hell. He's got that right. Well, this is something smells or whatever in the state of Denmark.
Well, Truth Social went live just in time a few months ago for all of this because
thank goodness for Truth Social.
One thing,
this is getting good.
I don't know why President Trump has not had a press conference on this yet.
Maybe he's waiting for for all the information to come out. Maybe he's waiting to see if how this plays out.
Well, he could be another way to say that is he's waiting to see how much more they screw themselves.
But when has Trump had? When was the last time he had a press conference? He really hasn't had one.
I don't think he's had one since he left office.
Yeah, so maybe doing it through Truth is what he prefers. Okay, And also, this is breaking. He's shattering all fundraising records, by the way. He's gotten so many donations. Yeah. Good for him on his website over the last 2 days. Of course, the left will say he's using this to whatever. But this is a very interesting twist. The truth always comes out, guys. And one thing we can count on is if it's from the left, they're corrupt. Hands down.
That's right. Now, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we have a guest coming on after the break. You will not want to miss it. Very interesting interview. Don't miss that. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back with our interview right after this.
Life insurance helps life's critical moments live on, whether it pays the mortgage, maintains a current standard of living, or pays off debts. The life insurance you choose today can be there when your family needs it the most tomorrow. Don't just get coverage, get advice from lifepolicyhub.com. Their HIPAA-compliant technology allows lifepolicyhub.com to protect your family in a matter of minutes. There's no medical exam required with A+ rated carriers. If you're getting married, having a child, buying a home, taking on more debt, starting a business, planning for retirement, or end of life, you need to think about life insurance. You can get started right now by visiting lifepolicyhub.com or call them directly 845-237-0034. 845-237-0034. From author Christian Rhodes comes your next must-read book, The Book of Wonders, the first book in the Casey Tresser's Fairy Tale Odyssey book series. After reuniting with his long-lost baby sister, 16-year-old teenage gaming YouTube star Casey Tresser discovers he comes from a fairy tale video game and finds an opportunity to reunite with his long-lost family through the game when he's moved from his home to a small town in Paris, France, but only to discover that the town where his family have taken refuge in is now being plagued by organized criminals who so happen to be an evil army of demons out to kill him to prevent a prophecy the teenager is a part of. The Book of Wonders from author Christian Rhodes is available on Wattpad. You can read it as it's being written. This is a fantasy sci-fi novel that's heavy on mystery. Check it out right now. Go to Wattpad.com and search for The Book of Wonders from author Christian Rhodes. And visit the website CaseyTresser.com and sign up for updates. If you have a passion for food, there are two guys you will want to know. The Wandering Food Dudes. Located in Seattle, Washington, these two awesome foodies are on the hunt for the most awesome food in the world. Their goal is to travel the globe and help small businesses and people by showcasing their culture and their food. Join Fish and Poetic on their food adventures. You can find them on YouTube and Instagram. They love all things food and have a great time talking about it and eating it. Check them out right now. The Wandering Food Dudes on YouTube and Instagram. Do you know someone dealing with substance abuse? If so, there's a book perfect for them. From author Stephen McDonald. Thanks for letting me share. This must-read book contains 368 quotes heard from recovering addicts and alcoholics. They are profound, funny, cringeworthy, memorable, and powerful. They will allow you to reflect, remember, and reassess your recovery. Thanks for letting me share is broken up into just 3 parts: getting here, staying here, and higher power. And take something from all of us as we continue to pray for those who haven't come in yet. Take what you want and leave the rest. Thanks for letting me share. From author Stephen McDonald. Order your copy right now. Available in Kindle, paperback, and audiobook on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, iTunes, and Audible.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast. Broadcasting from sunny South Florida, Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
On our celebrity hotline, we have author A.J. Rice. A.J.'s new book, The Woking Dead. Woking like woke, not Walking Dead. The Woking Dead. How Society's Vogue Virus Destroys Our Culture. A.J. Rice, welcome to the program.
Brian Craig, great to be here. We love you guys. You know, we do a lot of, we send a lot of guests your way, and today we're sending you me.
That's right. Well, you know, this woke culture is really gotten out of control. You know, I've been doing this a while, and I remember when you could have a debate and even a conversation, believe it or not, with a liberal. But since this wokester business started, they just want to destroy people.
Well, I think the infancy of this begins in the 90s with the political correct movement, right?
Yeah.
So during the maybe second term of Bill Clinton. And look, even the left back then pushed back. You had shows like Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher, right?
Yeah.
Where at any given day, you could have Chris Rock arguing with Laura Ingraham, right?
Yeah.
Which happened. It happened routinely. All sides got to chip in. But the one thing both commentators on the left and commentators on the right agreed with back then was that free speech trumped everything. That's not necessarily the case anymore. Some comedians comply. Some, left-wing commentators like on MSNBC and CNN comply. I mean, obviously conservatives don't comply at all. We've basically become the counterculture movement because of that. And it goes beyond just speech. It's controlling behavior. Wokeism comes in many nefarious forms. There's talk about microaggressions, talk about white privilege, CRT, pushing some of this stuff on children through the government schools. That's what I call public schools, government schools system.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's all around us, and the main goal is to change the culture.
You talked about Politically Incorrect, which was a great show. I was in the studio audience of that once, and that was Bill Maher when he was on ABC. And you listen to Bill Maher these days on his HBO show, he's had it with the wokeness. He really is sounding like a conservative a lot of times.
Yeah, so there's a small handful of people that by no means are going to vote like you and I and most of your audience that have had it. I mean, David Rubin, who's on Fox and Newsmax all the time, is a Democrat. I mean, he was a comedian. I don't know what Dave Portnoy's positions on on everything is. I don't know what Joe Rogan, who is a comedian, his position on things are. But Bill Maher, Barry Weiss, and a few people like Naomi Wolf and a few activists out there, it's a small handful that haven't drank the woke Kool-Aid and are just, there literally are comedians out there that are basically changing their entire act in order to comply with the thought police.
Well, not all comedians are wealthy. They make a living on tour. If they don't tour, they figure they can't work and they bend the knee.
Sure. I mean, look, Dave Chappelle by no means is Clarence Thomas or, Ben Carson, but he has pushed back. But again, Dave Chappelle today is probably behaving very different than Dave Chappelle 25 years ago. Dave Chappelle can afford to fight the LGBTQ mafia, whereas somebody starting out tomorrow, maybe can't. So you're absolutely correct. Follow the money.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a funny thing you say, about this woke culture and cancel culture. Olivia Newton-John passed away this week, and I could not believe right before I called you for this interview, I just read an article saying that Grease is racist. It's an all-white cast, and there's only one black couple in it at the very end with no lines at the big dance. This woke culture, you're right, it started a lot in the 90s, but it was given a lot of power through the Twitter mob, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. I mean, but it has multiple components. So there's a race element. It's sort of led by the 1619 Project, BLM. Yeah. Some of these activists that are these race hustlers out there like Sharpton and others. Then there's the Me Too movement, which has taken on this weird form that not only is for, women supposedly speaking their truth about some incident, some of these incidents, of course, are fake. And then there's another element to that where they try to sort of retroactively go back into our entertainment of the past and pretty much do an abortion on it. Mm-hmm. So whether it's the Dean Martin, whether it's Baby It's Cold Outside, I don't know whether you remember a couple Christmases ago, that was apparently a rape anthem. That was like a rapist anthem.
That's right.
Baby It's Cold Outside. And now obviously Grease isn't multi-culty enough. Tons of TV shows aren't multi-culty enough. Tim Allen had to be removed as Buzz Lightyear because he might like lower taxes and power tools and shotguns. So, I mean, that's where they're at. They're going to come in. They're going to try to completely remove things from your music selection, from your entertainment selection, or they're going to trash stuff that are American, icons like Grease or Happy Days or A Christmas Story with Ralphie or Clark Griswold or whatever it is. They are coming for these things.
They're book burners. Tim Allen's a textbook example of this with this new movie where they don't use him for the Buzz Lightyear character. These groomers at Disney didn't have a problem with Tim Allen having done prison time for being a drug dealer. That didn't stop them from using his voice. But if you're a conservative, maybe they can't use you. You're canceled.
Absolutely. Isn't that interesting? I had forgotten that. No, Tim Allen was fine until they found out who he might have voted for.
Yeah.
Any manner of sin is okay if you vote Democrat.
Yeah, that's right. Well, a lot of people on the left now, though, are going after what they consider to be conservative cancel culture. Libs of TikTok, which is the hottest Twitter account ever. And I'm sure you're familiar where they just show.
It's hilarious.
It is hilarious. And there's no commentary really for the most part, just showing what these lefty loons are doing on TikTok. And, they don't like it being brought back to them.
But the people that are in those videos, that's the Woking Dead, led by the reanimated corpse in the White House. These are the descendants of the Obama zombies from 15 years ago. That's who this is. And they are just mindless, ravenous eaters of the culture. That's what they want. And sometimes the libs of TikTok, all they do, I don't like what I do in the book, is put a spotlight on them and go, look at this behavior. Is this normal to you, America?
Mm-hmm. We're talking with A.J. Rice, author of the book, The Woking Dead, which is available wherever books are sold. This book, by the way, is recommended by some heavy hitters. Laura Ingraham, Judge Janine, Pete Hegseth. So it's one you definitely want to get. So are we at the beginning, middle, or end of this woke attack on our culture?
I think we're probably in Act 2, and that is, the rebels strike back, right?
Yeah.
So we are, mainly because, our politicians, the ones that have, a little bit more gusto than others. I mean, look, the left loves the compliant, genteel Mitt Romney types. Right?
Yeah.
They don't like Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis, who are disruptors, who are basically rejecting the premise of all of this and smashing through it, basically breaking these people. I mean, some of these people have been shattered by tweets or statements.
Right.
I mean, they've never seen such a thing. They like it when we go off quietly into the night. If we lose an election, we don't complain. If we just sort of grip the podium and quietly walk away like George W. Bush used to do. George W. Bush is a good man. But the reality is the left is so unhinged. You need a fighter.
That's right. And that's, of course, Donald Trump. And that's why they hate him. You talk about the race hustlers with critical race theory. I remember Brit Hume once said on Fox News Channel on Bret Baier's show, back when Obama was president and Obama was talking about one of the racial issues in the news. I can't recall what it was, but Brit Hume said, Obama uses race as a weapon or a shield, depending on which serves his purpose on a particular day. And that's how the woke culture, they are selectively woke.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, we last month or so, we've gone through a couple permutations where on one day of the week, women exist, and on another day of the week, they don't. So when it comes to trans athletes, they don't exist. When it comes to abortion, they do. They're going to have to make up their mind.
Yeah. I think Leah Thomas has done a lot of great work, I think, for the conservative MAGA movement. Really has put a spotlight on the absurdity of the entire thing.
Yeah, I'm going to dedicate my next book to her. It's no, you're right. I mean, look, any one of these people, some of the stuff that's, going on even in the military, I mean, and we're all paying for this stuff. But you're right. The crazier they get, the bigger the spotlight, the more regular Americans are kind of like, I want no part of this. I mean, look, I live in Virginia, outside of Swamp Central. okay, where you have to take a formaldehyde bath to get it off you once you cross the Potomac River. But I got to tell you, Virginia in particular, I mean, Youngkin is not a Florida-type conservative, but it's the best you're probably going to get in Virginia. And one of the reasons why there was a 10-point swing from Biden to Youngkin within a year is because regular people coming home from work, looking into their textbooks of their children, or seeing their daughters basically being disqualified for a boy or a man, or having boys in girls' bathrooms, or all kinds of shenanigans that were going on up there in Northern Virginia. They'd had it. So they swung big. And I'm looking for them to swing big again in November for the midterms.
Well, Virginia is an amazing thing when you talk about, what part of the wokeism era are we in? You had a governor, there was a big debate over, and the debate was, is he in blackface or is he in the Klan's robe?
Sure.
And that didn't seem to bother the leftist.
No, and you can survive. If that was DeSantis or Abbott, or any one of these guys, forget it. They're done. I mean, he basically signed his yearbook, Coon Man, I believe.
Yes.
Which is outrageous. Can you imagine?
Can we say that? Can you even say that, AJ?
Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, it was a medical school textbook, and that was the debate. I mean, he had a lot of problems, but the people of Virginia finally had enough. I mean, they had a statewide Republican elected in 12 years, and the last one they put in jail because he had the governor's mansion chef cook a wedding cake or something crazy. Yeah. That was Bob McDonnell, who was a good man. But they didn't just win the governorship. It was a clean sweep. They took the attorney general.
That's right.
And they took the lieutenant governor.
That's right. The one thing about the left, they got a lot of problems, of course, but one of their biggest problems is boundaries. You can always count on them to push too far, having this 6-foot-tall man swimming with the girls. But I'll tell you another thing, though. Hollywood is really going through an awakening against wokeness, I think. This new Tom Cruise Top Gun Maverick is like the third highest grossing film ever now. And it's a movie that was made years ago before the wokesters took over Hollywood. And it's about with a strong male lead. If that movie was made today, Tom Cruise would be a supporting character in his own movie with, I don't know, some checkmark Jean-Pierre type as the lead. But Hollywood now, I think they care about money, making money. It is a business. They were going to start to see a change in Hollywood from the woke movies into more normal movies like Top Gun Maverick.
Well, look, Cruise, he say what you want about him. He loves the country.
Yeah,
he does. And he did not offer that movie for streaming services. He wanted to bring you back to a place. The movie itself was nostalgic. The way you had to go see it was also nostalgic.
Yeah.
And, Cruise loves the country. He might have some weird ideas in his religion. Okay, we can do a whole show on that. I've goofed on him over the years. But he loves the country, and he's trying to make people feel good again. I mean, it's very reminiscent of the era pre-Reagan that we're in right now. I mean, we really are in a sort of depressed sort of psychodrama caught up with Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer, where they're just controlling every aspect of our life while the ticket price of everything is skyrocketing.
Well, I'll tell you one last thing on the movies. What they've been telling us is, people don't want to go to the movies anymore. It's COVID, or they like to watch the streaming. And Tom Cruise proved that's not true. And any place we can get a little victory to wake people up away from this is a good thing.
I agree. I mean, look, this Chris Pratt show is doing amazing. Terminal List.
That's right.
Right? So the kooky critics that want, the sushi menu of multiculturalism in every single thing we watch, they don't like Top Gun Maverick. They don't like Chris Pratt or the Terminal List. But the audience loves it. Just same thing with Yellowstone on Paramount Plus.
That's right.
The audience loves it. And to hell with the critics. I mean, these are the same people that try to jam wokeism into our sports and have taken over pretty much most of the media is on the political side.
That's right. Well, the book is The Woking Dead. The author, A.J. Rice, has been with us here. It is available, The Woking Dead, wherever books are sold. Go out and get a copy. Laura Ingram and Judge Janine and Pete Hegseth tell you to, all right? And I'm telling you to, too. All right, A.J. Rice, thanks, and it was great to speak with you.
Brian, we love you here. Really, keep fighting, brother.
Jewelry makes you feel special, and personalized jewelry is even better. Exclusively on Etsy, the shop specially for you. That's the letter U and all one word on Etsy.com. Sell custom jewelry that's as unique as you are. The items especially for you on Etsy come with Chinese, Korean, Japanese, or English text. Whether you want a name on a bracelet, keychain, tie clip, a ring, necklace, and more, they have exactly what you were looking for. Specially for You works with two very talented designers, and their items are handmade in Seoul, South Korea. Ordering is easy. Just go to their shop, specially for you. It's all one word and the letter U on Etsy.com. Place your order, tell them the name you choose, your font, and your language. The items are top quality and shipped directly to you or the recipient of your choice. Everything in the shop looks great. You will be proud to wear and give as a gift jewelry from Specially for You on Etsy.com.